As the devastating Clone Wars ravaged almost every corner of the galaxy, many citizens from the backwater worlds of the Outer Rim dreamed of a better life away from their home planet and to be given a more meaningful purpose. For 3 hardworking Outer Rim citizens, this dream actually became a reality after they were able to sneak into a clone squad by pretending to be clone troopers and were able to infiltrate the Grand Army of the Republic, but not for evil. So I'm going to break down the civilians who snuck into the clone army by accident, pretending to be clone troopers. Before we get into it, make sure to smash the subscribe button for more awesome Star Wars lore content. So the story begins on a distant, war-torn planet in the Outer Rim, as 2 brothers named Wes and Bryn, along with their friend Rayt, express their deep anger with their situation and their hope to escape from their homeworld and do something greater. Rayt begins rambling to his friends before thinking to himself, it shouldn't be so complicated to leave this planet. He admits that it's not a bad place and that he lives a very comfortable life here, but ever since the Republic moved in and the hordes of clones began patrolling every street and every building, it just hasn't been the same. The group then begins moving through a dense pile of destroyed battle droids, dead clone troopers, and an assortment of other metallic scrap left over from the harsh conflict that raged on only a short time ago. Rayt warns his friends that they need to get moving much faster than they are because their transport ship waiting to ferry them away from the planet is about to arrive, and his friends that are piloting it won't wait very long. As they begin to pick up their pace, however, Bryn stops in his tracks, hearing a strange, muffled sound from nearby. He hears a comms device with the message, "All available personnel need to facilitate the transferring of Separatist resources to," before the transmission is abruptly cut off. Bryn doesn't understand exactly what the message means, asking Rayt what the Republic could possibly want to do with the resource transfer on the planet. Rayt quickly responds to the green-clothed man, telling him that these resources are the whole reason the Republic invaded their previously peaceful world. This question angers Wes, Bryn's brother, prompting him to say, "Everyone knows that. The corrupt governor has been funneling money to the Seppies, Bryn. Where have you been?" With a mix of frustration and sarcasm, Bryn quickly fires back, saying, "Digging a hole in the backyard to put you in." The 2 continue arguing, but Rayt quickly becomes incredibly frustrated by the 2 brothers bickering, angrily shouting at them to knock it off because they're very quickly running out of time to reach their escape ship. Bryn quickly chimes in again, asking, "So the bank vaults are loaded?" To which Rayt quickly responds, telling him that they aren't just loaded up, but are completely overflowing with treasures. After hearing this, a rush of confusion washes over Bryn, leading him to ask, "Then why are we betting our lives on some farmer's hunk of junk, when we could just slip into the city, help ourselves, and buy our way off-world?" His brother does not agree at all with the suggestion, again angrily telling him, "Are you kidding me? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." But before he can finish his sentence, Rayt tells him that it isn't actually that bad of an idea because the city has already been looted and ransacked, so it's unlikely that anyone will notice a few armloads of gold and treasure are missing. Bryn is of course extremely excited that he agrees with him, instantly jumping into action, rustling through the huge pile of scrap in hopes of finding some clone trooper armor for the mission. Wes is still not convinced by the plan, telling the others that there is absolutely no way that they are going to make it through the Republic checkpoints and are even less likely to get into the vault itself. Despite Wes's doubts, Bryn reassures him, saying, "But you heard the man. All hands report in." The 3 then quickly get to work, trawling through the junk until they eventually find all of the pieces of the clone armor that they need. Bryn, however, is having slightly more trouble, asking, "Hey, help me find some pants in my size." His brother quickly responds to this in frustration, saying, "They're clones, idiot. Everything's the same measurement." Rayt then quickly rushes away, hoping to find a speeder to aid them in their mission. As they board the speeder, racing towards the bank vault at the center of the city, Wes continues to tell the 2 that he thinks the whole plan is still a horrendous idea. Bryn attempts to reassure his brother that everything will be alright, but there's nothing he can say to change his mind. Following this, the 3 rush off their speeder, right into the heat of battle. A horde of B1 battle droids is swiftly clanking towards the 3, who are completely out of their element, but they certainly know when the right time to run is. Bryn points to the left, begging the others to follow him and telling his brother, "You couldn't find your way out of an airlock." His brother responds, "I'm gonna throw you out of an airlock," before pointing at Rayt, who has already located the vault in the other direction. Rayt is of course extremely frustrated at this point, wishing he'd left the 2 bickering brothers behind. As the group of fake clones moves towards the center of the town, They are greeted by a flurry of fire and a barrage of blaster bolts flying in every direction. And of course, Bryn isn't paying too much attention to the mission, being more fascinated by the firing cannons than the task at hand, saying, "Whoa, check out that cannon. Now I know what I'm spending my share of the treasure on." After this, the group are about to move away from the heat of the battle, but Rayt quickly notices something in the distance. Only a small amount away from him, he sees a family that he is very familiar with. He quickly tells the others that the father's name is Trillan Katos, and that they used to work at the central bank in the city together for years, and has even had dinner with them. Rayt knows with his brain that the vaults won't be full for long, and if they don't move quickly, the treasure will be gone. But he also knows with his heart that he has to help his longtime friends. Bryn is angered by this, refusing to split his treasure 4 more ways, and suggests that they can just wait for the droids and clones to reload before running out of the area. Rayt is stunned by this suggestion, wondering how the family has even survived for this long. As the two can't decide what to do with the family, Wes quickly steps in to take care of business like he usually does, accurately aiming his weapon before pulling the trigger with a loud click and firing off a blaster bolt, managing to somehow precisely hit a missile that a B1 battle droid below is holding. The B1 battle droid realizes that his fate is already decided, quickly saying, "Oh, gonk me," before a massive red fireball rips through the area, shredding the nearby battle droids to pieces. The others compliment Wes on his incredible shot, but moments later, Rayt rushes towards his old friends, screaming their names, relieved to be able to rescue them. Unfortunately, however, the man's wife does not recognize him, believing that he is a clone invader on her home planet, viciously firing off her blaster at him. The rest of the family also begin firing on the fake clone trooper, but Rayt pleads with his old friends, trying to tell them that he is not a clone. Wes, being the reasonable one of the group, pulls Rayt back, but in return, Bryn rushes towards the family and begins firing on them to Rayt's horror. Bryn of course realizes his mistake, and the group begins sprinting away from the family, finally making their way towards the central bank vault. As the group enter the pristine and shiny bank vault, Bryn exclaims, "Where have you been all my life?" before rushing towards the precious metals in absolute joy and happiness. The other two sigh, but quickly join him and begin looting the area, hoping to take as much as they can before the real clone troopers reach the area. The two brothers eventually begin to get greedy with the treasures, sparking a huge argument between them, which results in them losing half of what they collected. The brothers are then about to engage in a fierce fistfight, arguing over who can take more treasures, but they are quickly interrupted by the clone commander from the earlier radio transmission and his men. The commander demands to know what is going on between these 3 stray clones, and they quickly explain that they heard the order to fall in, but their squad was completely obliterated by a droid cannon, leaving only the 3 of them. Luckily for them, the clone commander has heard about the cannon and informs them that someone just blew it up. The commander then orders his men, including the fake clones, to begin loading the ship with the goods. The 3 fake clones then begin the long march up to their ship, before sitting down and finally getting some well-earned rest. And to end the story, Rayt thinks to himself, "All I wanted was to get off this planet, it shouldn't be so complicated." The group are now part of the clone army and will serve alongside them until they are discovered or are killed in combat. So that was the story of the civilians who joined the clone army by accident. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.